perspective on our things. It adds meaning to life, and it sheds light on everything else that we do, everything that we want, everything that we own. I mean, go back to verse 22 and consider the first part of that where he says, the eye is the lamp of the body. Now, the imagery here is a little hard for us to grasp in this day and time because we have a different idea about how light enters the body. In the ancient mind, the eye was like a window. It sort of let light into your being and let light into the body. And basically, if you have how healthy an eye was, would determine the level, the amount of which light would come into your body. An unhealthy eye was seen to cloud the light coming into the soul, subjecting the body to darkness. And also from the biblical perspective, the eye is reflective of your character. I mean, it is the conduit that affects how you will see spiritually. So the original hearers of these words understood this very quickly when Jesus said there in verse 22 that the eye is the lamp of the body. So the eye is reflective of your character. So see what Jesus is saying here. So with that in mind, Jesus challenges us to consider a couple of things. First of all, when it comes to our stuff, he's simply saying, look, you've got to have a clear perspective, a right perspective here, as he put it there at the end of verse 22. So if your eye is healthy in regards to seeing your things, if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Now there's one word in this particular part of the verse that's really hard to translate, and it's the word good. Because it has a variety of meanings here. In general, it can mean to be clear, to be sound, to be healthy, but it can also mean to be simple, to be sincere, to be single. It's the idea, if it's that latter impression that Jesus is saying here, the idea is to have a clear, single-minded focus when it comes to your things. If your eye is good, you'll have a clear perspective on things. You'll see these in light of how God sees them. And we know that light doesn't literally enter into our bodies through our eyes. Still, our eyes illuminate our way. It shows us where to go. And so with that in mind, let's do a little experiment if we can. I don't know if you've noticed today, we've had a little bit of trouble with some lights. We weren't trying to do a light show for you. We shut the system down. The lighting system's computerized. We had some blinking on the stage a little bit. Hope you enjoyed the light show. All right? We're going to press on anyhow. But I want us to do a little bit of experiment. Guys, if you can bring the lights up as bright as you can in the room, can you do that for just a moment? And if you've ever you've had a bright light shine in your eyes, and then the lights go out, you know how difficult it is to find your way, to feel your way around? One of my favorite places to go is back in my home state of Kentucky. It's Mammoth Cave. It's the longest cave system in the world. And as a little kid, my folks used to take me there, and I've been a number of times. I've taken my children there. It's just a fascinating place to visit if you've ever had a chance to go. You need to be prepared, because one of the things that they will do for you when you get into the deepest part, they're going to say, look, you're going to experience pure darkness. And for most of us, if we go into our rooms at night, we shut off the lights, there's always some kind of ambient light that shines in. But when you go into Mammoth Cave, they will have the lights on pretty bright, and then they'll say, stand still, we're going to turn the lights off. And we want you to experience true darkness. So I want the lights to go off right now. Can you do that, guys? All right. We've got some light flooding in, but I want you to imagine for just a moment if this is utter darkness, and I told you to get up and to find your way out of here. When I had my children with me, I was really worried. I immediately grabbed my kids because I didn't want them getting lost in the darkness. They were very young at that point. Now turn the lights on for just a moment. And understand the importance of light for us. And how it illuminates the way and shows us the way. When I was in the darkness, the reason why I grabbed a hold of my kids, because I didn't want them running off, because if they ran off, I would have no way to find them, no way to orient myself, no way to be sure that I was standing on sure ground, because there was no light. And so when Jesus says here in verse 22, if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light, he's not talking about physical insight here. He's not talking about being able to see physically. He's talking about spiritual sight. That we would be, without the right perspective, we're not going to be able to see our way through in the right way. Now, the eye is a physical organ for sight. You need it to be able to see with a clear perspective physically, but when Jesus mentions it, it can also refer to transcendent perception. Your ability to be able to see things spiritually. So when Jesus refers to an eye that is good, he's speaking about having a right perspective, a clear perspective on things. And it's so important that we have spiritual eyes and have a spiritual perspective that is sound and healthy, because without it we cannot have a clear and healthy perspective on the things that God has given us, these tangible material things that we call our wealth. There's a reason for this, because just as our physical eye affects our whole body, so our spiritual eye affects how we see things spiritually. You see, whatever you focus on will dominate your life. We talked last week about having the right perspective, right priorities in life, and very close to that is having the right perspective. To have the right priority, you have to have the right perspective on things. And if you're focused on money, then you're going to find and seek after more ways to make it, to invest it, to spend it. If you're focused on athletics, you're going to find more ways to train, to practice, to enjoy your sport. If you focus on your job, you're going to take more time to focus on work, to educate yourself, to better position you to be a success in your field. And it's not wrong to do those kinds of things, but whatever you focus on, if you're not careful, it will dominate your life. Whatever you're focused on is going to dominate your thinking, whether it's being a gardener or practicing basketball or following your favorite football team or your baseball team or playing golf or engaging in crafts or your favorite car or your electronic gadgets or fishing or whatever it may be. All these things are fine. We can enjoy them. But you need to ask, what is your perspective on them? Do you have a healthy view on these things? Because whatever it is that you focus on most, if it dominates your thinking, it will affect your life and what you do.